Hi, I'm Peter Bregman, and I want to talk to you a little bit about growing your business. But my focus is going to be not specifically on what you need to do to grow your business, but alternatively, what you need to do to stop yourself from preventing growing your business. So, what do I mean by that? When you grow anything, out vegetables, flowers, anything that you actually grow out in the world, one of the most important things that you do is make sure that the weeds don't get in the way, because the weeds are the things that are going to prevent the growth, limit the growth, or kill the growth. What are the weeds in our businesses? The weeds in our businesses are the tremendous number of things that we do that don't actually add value. And this point was brought home to me in the funniest of places when I was at Bloomingdale's, actually, and I was buying several suits, and they asked me if I wanted to sign up for a Bloomingdale's credit card, that the credit card would save me 10%, which would have been several $100s. And I said yes. They said it would just be really short. Well, an hour later, I was still working on getting the credit and getting the credit card, and eventually I did, and eventually I bought the suits with the several $100s off. But then I had even more headache as I had to pay an extra bill and then eventually cancel the card. And all of that took time and focus and energy. And it led me to create what I started to call my no thank you list. My list of things that I just ignore. And I'm a huge proponent of creating a to-do list, and I'll talk in a minute about how to do that in a way that's most effective. But I also think along with that to-do list that it's really useful to create an ignore list. What are the things that you choose not to focus on? What are the weeds that prevent your growth, that prevent the growth of your business or your service? So some of the obvious things that go on the no thank you list, originally I, by the way, created this list on my website. It's on the website, and people started adding to it. And there were things like, obviously, the store credit card, drugstore chain cards, finding the cheapest gas. Someone actually threw out there the sort of the old BMG CD clubs where you'd have to send back the CD if you didn't want them. A number of little things that just get in the way of us focusing on really what's most important to us. And some of the other things that people talked about was retail accessory sales, shopping in big, huge stores where you buy a tremendous number of things that you don't end up using, the sort of bulk stores. So those are little things that get in the way of how you want to spend your time. But what you say no thank you to in big picture for your business is really important as well. I'm an advocate of creating 5 things, focusing on 5 things that are most important to you to accomplish in the year. For me, my 5 things are to do great work for my current clients, to grow my business and focus on future clients, to write and speak about my ideas, to promote my new book, 18 Minutes, to nurture myself and my family. Those are my 5 things. Anything that doesn't fit into those 5 things, I need to take off my list. I need to put on that list called my ignore list. One of the things I really wanted to do this year was create a screenplay, write a screenplay. But as I really looked at my top 5 priorities for the year, the 5 things I really needed to accomplish, writing a screenplay did not show up on any of them, and eventually I had to just take it off my list. One year, maybe next year, that will be my big focus. But there are a myriad of things that can get in the way of those top 5 priorities. I create a to-do list. It's called my 6-box to-do list. It's also on my website, my 6-box to-do list, which is very, very simple. It is a box for each of those 5 priorities, and then a 6th box called my other 5%. 5% of my time can be spent buying running sneakers, doing more research on that bike I want to get, and if writing the screenplay only took 5% of my time, that would be fine too. But if it takes more than 5% of my time, I don't want to do it. 95% of my time should be spent in those top 5 areas. So a question you want to ask yourself is, what are the top 5 areas you want to focus on? The top 5 high leverage things that will grow your business most effectively, that will be the best use of your time. Maybe there are certain kinds of clients that you don't want. For me, I was sort of thinking about the clients that are my legacy clients. I still do work for them. I still run leadership training programs. But for the most part, my work is focused on CEO retained work, focused on advising CEOs and their leadership teams. If it doesn't fit into that category, it's just a weed that's preventing the growth in that category. So think about your business. Think about the top 5 things that are most important for you to accomplish. Create a to-do list in boxes so that every task you have fits into one of those 5 things. If it doesn't, you could put it in this other box called the other 5%, but don't let more than 5% of your time get caught up in those things. And that way, you will limit the weeds that are reducing or inhibiting the growth of your business. You'll be able to really focus on what's most important, and you'll have a long list that probably gets longer and longer called your no thank you list or your ignore list, where you put all the things that at this point, given your priorities, you don't want to focus on. Thanks, I hope this was useful, and good luck in growing your business.